Welcome to That Show with Chris Davis and Jarrett Hatcher.
Scream bravo. Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
All right, welcome to the show. This is Jarrett Hatcher along with Chris Davis.
We're kind of back to solo again.
We're back to the way it used to be. Old School Monday's got a new feel today.
And Old School Monday, we'll be having some songs played 3 years ago this evening.
Wow, 3 years ago. I wonder what happened 3 years ago. Actually, it was the 30th.
Right.
Our first show, the first real show. I guess the 13th was the pilot, the first real show. We've been on the air 3 years.
3 years.
Congratulations, Chris.
You too, Jared. It's been, last year we had a little bit of a bigger fanfare because it being our second year, it was our 100th show also. But this being our third year, we've been on the air for 3 years. There's a lot of things that don't make it 3 years.
No, you think about Seinfeld. Seinfeld was only on about 8 years. I mean, there are a lot of, they've already canceled some sitcoms this year.
All right. After like one or two episodes.
Right. But in keeping with the show tradition.
We like that here.
We do. Last year, we broke out something brand new.
Right. On the 2-year anniversary, we decided to
launch a website.
The
show on ESPN1240.com. We've got about 400 blogs on there, and pictures and posts and all kinds of stuff.
Podcasts. You can go on there and listen.
We have it's all archived. You can listen to everything from the last year. We also have our Super Bowl commercial. That there was a little bit of the mix-up with where the Super Bowl is being carried. We didn't get it aired, but the commercial is great.
Yes.
Kyle, who filmed the commercial for us, is here in studio. We're going to do our first ever kind of simulcast, podcast, viral video. I mean, you can watch us. I know people imagine we're in an opulent studio and they want to see the surroundings. This is really like Wayne's World.
Yes. Well, I think that if people go on the website, like you said, the show on ESPN1240.com, and check out this video, I think they'll be very surprised on what we actually do and how we sit down here and do this.
And later on, maybe as a special bonus, since people can actually see us as well as hear us, we might reenact what we had to do the first summer.
We could do that.
When lightning struck and broke everything except the old board and one mic.
So, all right, 3 years. It's been 3 years. It's hard to believe it's been 3 years.
It really is.
It's just become part of my Monday now.
Same here. Monday nights, people ask me to do things, and I say I can't. Monday nights, it's a night that's reserved.
And we've taken very few Mondays off. I think we've taken off 5 Mondays in 3 years.
5 Mondays, and one of those was forced. The Rose Bowl bumped us.
Right.
And so we've had, basically 4 weeks of vacation. We've done it live. We've done it different states. You and I have been in different places.
And it's always seemed to work out.
But
I've enjoyed it, and we've talked about this. When we stop enjoying it, that's when we'll stop doing it.
Right.
People say, how long are you going to do this for? And I said, as long as I like doing it, then that's as long as I'm going to do it.
You and I have known each other. I mean, we've tried to figure that out since elementary school. We've been doing this our entire adult life.
Just so happens that 3 years ago we started doing it on the air.
Right. We started doing it for more people than like the folks in your basement or at cookouts.
That might be the only people that are listening, but
right. Well, I think maybe we've grown a few people because I'm surprised the number of people that we're not necessarily friends with or wouldn't even associate. Hey, they listen to the show. They'll stop and say, "Hey, I heard that. That was funny." And so we thank all the people that are out there listening.
No, I find out whenever people are listening, whenever I say something bad about Virginia Tech.
Right. And
so all y'all people get ready for the second segment.
Yeah, because the second segment could be fun. Because did you get my text message?
Yes, I did.
I didn't know if you were asleep, awake. I sent that text message to every Carolina fan I knew.
Yes.
And every Virginia Tech fan I knew. The Carolina responses were much different than the Virginia Tech responses.
So we'll talk a little bit more about college football in the second segment. But I guess we should start off with
the World Series.
World Series. How can you not talk about the World Series and what's going on? It changed from the first game. The first game last week, you said, hey, could this happen?
Right.
Could the Phillies? And now with the Yankees winning 3 straight.
Lee was amazing.
Yes. And yes, first game, I mean, there's always stories you read about these Major League Baseball players who say there's sometimes they come into the game, and by the second inning, third inning, they know they're not going to beat that pitcher.
Right.
They're just, there's sometimes pitchers, and it's not just the most dominant pitchers. Sometimes guys have stuff, and they know in their first at bat they're not going to hit them. And of course, they're not going to come out and say we can't beat this guy. But
he had that demeanor. He had that demeanor. The behind the back catch. Come on.
The nonchalant little pop up.
Oh yes. I mean everything was just. And I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? This is not good. This is, the Yankees aren't going to win the World Series, and everybody. It's funny how the momentum shifts. Everybody was the Phillies, the Yankees got to hold on. It's been a very compelling World Series.
Yes, and back to the game one, and the thing, if you're a Yankees fan, that you have to look at and say, CeCe didn't throw bad. It's just that Lee threw better that night.
He just throws bad to Utley.
Right. Well, so anyways, it's not like you're sitting there saying, oh my gosh, CeCe got rocked. What are we going to do?
Right.
He comes back last night, throws a great game last night. So it's, the pitching's been there for the Yankees. The hitting has been, other than game one, the hitting has been pretty timely. So I don't know that it's going to end the night.
Right.
I'm not sure with Lee coming back. I don't know that he can do the same thing he did in game one.
And Burnett, he's always a question mark.
Yeah, and I don't know that he can do the same thing he did in game two.
He was flawless.
Right. So it might end the night. I don't think it's going to. I actually think it's going to go back to New York. But I don't think they'll get past Pettit in the game six.
My first thought was game one, and this seems like this World Series they're playing like a regular season series. They're just playing every day. It's not spaced out. And can you believe it's November?
November.
I mean, it's November, and I guess maybe A-Rod will be Mr. November. Maybe he's going to surpass Jeter for that. But A-Rod played horrible in the first game, and I thought, great, okay, what's going on? Here we go. A-Rod showed up. And I'm sure there were probably a lot more vocal Yankee fans thinking that. The Yankees have hit, you said it best, timely. They've hit the ball well. I think they've played very well. The pitching both ways has been it's been pretty good, and you're a baseball guy. Much more knowledgeable than I'll ever be with baseball, but a lot of strategy going on, a lot of weird plays.
Yeah, and there's a lot more, I would say the games have been a lot quicker than they have in the past.
Right.
And the reason being is because the starting pitching has gone longer,
right,
and there hasn't been as many, righty-lefty matchups in the sixth and seventh inning as there has been, the last couple of years. And what really slows down Major League Baseball playoffs is all those changes. Oh, I'm going to pinch hit this guy, and then we're going to make a change, and this guy's going to throw just the one batter, and we're going to bring in somebody for two batters or whatever it might be.
And when you see that and it doesn't work, I always think, why'd you pull that guy? He was pitching well. I know you play the percentages, but sometimes guys,
I think, you know what? I think the easiest job in the world is to be a Major League Baseball manager.
Really?
I mean, there's some decisions you have to make, but you know what? I don't think that Joe Girardi's sitting in his office right now trying to decide who his starting lineup's going to be tonight. Right. I don't think he's sitting there deciding, I wonder who's going to close for me tonight.
Well, he may be worried about whether he's going to put Jorge Posada in the lineup.
Well, and you know what? There's a couple decisions like that.
Right.
But you know what? As long as, and most of these Major League Baseball managers have some type of credibility where they can make a decision, and even if people don't always agree with it, they can say, oh, I see why he's not letting Jorge catch Burnett. I mean, I can see why he's putting Molina in for that. I mean, there's people that can say that. So
Colin Cowherd said today that's why they're called managers and not coaches.
Right.
And what do you refer to if Joe Girardi came on the show? Hey manager, Skip.
Hey guy.
Hey fella, how's it going?
What do you say now, fella?
What do you say now, fella?
That's what I'd say to him.
I thought A-Rod the home run.
Yes.
He had the first regular season
in
review.
Tampa.
And he had that was like in August of 2008, and then he had the first review of the World Series home run. And Johnny Damon last night, that was a crazy play. You said before we came on the air, it looked like something you see
in Little League.
In Little League,
it really was. I mean, it was something that
run,
oh my
Johnny.
Gosh. But like I said to you, I'm sure that what happened was when either in that point of the game or some point other time during the series, he had decided, if I go to steal and they've got the shift on, and the third baseman is covering second,
right,
I can beat the next guy to third. So I think that's what happened is once he slid in, the ball carried the third baseman past for second base. He can just beat him to beat him to third. The pitcher should be covering there,
right?
And it's just not. It's just not something that you have to do.
He's pretty smart for an idiot. Might be the most compelling base running since Enos Slaughter in like the 1946 World Series, where he scores from first base. But I didn't see that live. But
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk some college football.
Before we do, I'd like to say happy birthday to my Uncle Wallace Hatcher.
Okay.
He signed your diploma at Bridgewater. He was chairman of the board. He's 76 years old today. Happy birthday, Uncle Wallace.
Happy birthday. And we're going to go ahead and get out here with some old school. Remember, this is Old School
I'm
Monday.
ready for some old school stuff.
This is music from 3 years ago when we started the show.
Just Grandstaff.
Listen to the show on ESPN 1240. The Boss.